All right, time for a power rankings show. A power rankings show that I have never done before. This is different than any power rankings I've done in the past. This is not just my picks as to who I think should be the best teams in football, and this isn't even my analytical power rankings thing I've done in the past. This is going to be the EPA power rankings. So what I did was I looked at teams' offensive EPA and defensive EPA and essentially combined them, created a net EPA per play system, and then we're going to go through and see which teams just simply perform the best. If you're unsure of what EPA per play is, it's estimated points added per play using an algorithm. It's not my stat, but it's an interesting one, so that's what we're going to do here. But I combined them together and compiled the list. We're going to do just in general EPA per play, and then we're going to do just of the past since week 12. Just because I figured it might, some teams have gotten better, some teams have gotten worse. So we're going to go through each. Let's just start off with the overall season EPA per play. Also, real quick, just mentioning, I recorded this video before the Browns-Jets game, so that data has not yet been added to this whole discussion. But yeah. So as you see, we're starting off 23. I cut out all the teams that are mathematically eliminated from the playoffs, and I also cut out the Bears because they're basically mathematically eliminated from the playoffs. Still technically a chance, but only 23 teams we will be talking about, and I could have cut out the Broncos and Raiders probably as well. They are both at the bottom of the list. The Bengals and Steelers aren't too far behind. The Seahawks are a surprise at 19. Their defense has been really bad in terms of EPA per play, and we'll get more into it in the next grouping as well, but that's definitely an issue. The offense has been okay, but it still hasn't been good enough to make up for the tough defense. The Texans, now, obviously, there is an asterisk with the Texans, right? And some of these are going to have asterisks, and it's even more severe when we get to the next grouping for the Texans is they haven't had CJ Stroud for this past month or so, and that's hurt their statistics, obviously. So because of that, they've taken a hit. The Jaguars, another team where it's like, you could argue there's an asterisk as well. Lawrence has been banged up. If they can get healthy for the playoffs, maybe they have a chance, but Lawrence is probably going to have to play banged up to get them into the playoffs, so I don't know how well you feel about that. And the Colts, also, all these teams are in negative totals, so below average at this point, despite the fact that they are currently competing for playoff spots. The Colts feel like, the closest to maybe, a playoff team as a whole body of work. They've been kind of consistent across the board. I believe they're 17th in offense and 16th in defense, so makes sense they're kind of right here. 8 more here. I think, a little more interesting once we get closer to the top of the list. The Falcons actually haven't been terrible. They're 15th. The Packers, also kind of in that vein. Again, it actually gets more interesting with both of those teams once we get to the next grouping, but they've both been solid this season. Tampa Bay, again, kind of, in a spot where they would be a fringe playoff team in general. Obviously, with their division, though, they feel pretty locked in. And the Saints have been all right this season, despite the fact that they're probably not going to make the playoffs, just given where they're currently at. Number 11 is super interesting. The Philadelphia Eagles here at number 11, who are, they're basically right in line with the Saints and Buccaneers. I mean, you think Saints, Eagles, Buccaneers. I think you pretty clearly think Eagles are the best team. Buccaneers are kind of in the middle, and then the Saints are lower, but they're all right around the same tier according to this. The Eagles' defense has just been terrible according to EPA. Their offense has been good, but not good enough. Good. It is good enough to make up for the bad defense, but not that much good enough to make up for the bad defense to be top 10 according to EPA. The Browns are very fascinating. So despite the fact that their offense has scored horribly in EPA per play, their defense has done well enough that they're still a top 10 unit. And of course, we'll get into how they've done lately, although it might not be as exciting as you might think if you're a Browns fan. Vikings, again, big asterisk there. Half of the season has been with Kirk Cousins, so that obviously helps things. The Rams are very fascinating as well, as they've, scored pretty well here. Things have been going well for the Rams, so they're not number 8. Top 7, a couple of teams I think will be surprising to a lot of people. First, the Lions. That's not surprising. Lions have been good all year. Makes sense that they're here. But there are 6 teams that are over 1/10 of a point per play net. So, again, one offensive play, one defensive play. How many points did you add? 6 teams add a tenth of a point in that scenario, including the Kansas City Chiefs, who people are, all talking about. Man, what's going wrong with the Chiefs? Why are the Chiefs so terrible? Over the course of the season, they haven't been, although, again, let's put a pin on that. We'll talk about it in just a second once we get to from week 12 on. The Bills are another team where, and there's a huge jump, right? We're talking 1.5 points per, 2 plays, essentially, for them. Their defense actually has done pretty well, and their offense has been 4th best in football, despite the fact that I think there's some issues. Josh Allen's made up for those issues, which is part of why I've been arguing for him to win MVP. The Miami Dolphins are here at number 4. They've been good defensively and offensively, and same thing with the Cowboys, and really all these teams have gotten it done all across the board. The Cowboys are number 3, and the Ravens and Niners are the 2 top units at this point, which is to be expected. The Niners have blown out so many teams offensively. They are the only team this season to get over 0.2 of a point in net point EPA per play. So very good stuff by San Francisco. But let's get into, okay, that's what they've done all season. But what have you done lately? Well, going over here, and again, it's the same 23 teams, still have the same 9 that we're not using, and some, quite frankly, shocking bottom 4 right here with the Texans. That's not shocking, really. They benefit out their quarterback, makes sense, but still kind of surprising they're last. The Seahawks, again, their defense has not graded well. The Eagles' defense has graded so poorly. They're all the way at this point right now, which is, again, shocking. That's shocking to me. I figured it wouldn't be great. Didn't think it'd be that bad. The Jaguars, they've been free falling, so they're here. And then some teams that make sense, right? The Bengals, the Vikings, the Browns, and the Steelers, all teams where, it's not even terrible with the Vikings, Browns, and Steelers necessarily, but they're trying to hang on to get to the postseason. Also, I think I might have said something wrong. Apologies if I did about the Cleveland Browns. I think I might have thrown them in with the Vikings, Bengals, and Steelers. Of course, they are not with those teams because they have an easier schedule and more wins. They are for sure in the playoffs at this point. So sorry if any Browns fan was losing their mind there. But yes, the Browns are here only at 17. But a big part of that has been the Joe Flacco turnovers. Well, the good has happened with Flacco. The turnovers have kind of kept the offense as actually a negative enough unit that even with their defense playing great, it's still one of the best defensive units of the past, month or so. Because of that, it's a little bit lower. So that's that. Next, 8, the Colts are still, maybe a little bit lower than their season average, but still kind of right around there, and they got crushed by Atlanta, so I think that's what's kind of drawn their total points down. The Saints continue to actually be all right. They haven't played terrible, and again, we're kind of talking about them as if they're dead. They beat the Buccaneers. They have a chance again, so there is all of that. The Broncos are here at 23, so, again, a team that maybe we look at as a terrible team. Maybe not quite, at least past few weeks, but it's still not been good. Again, their overall averages are largely down due to that rough start to the season. The Chiefs, who are 6th overall, are 12th here in this scenario. So they have been playing a lot worse football. Again, maybe not quite as bad as you might think, but it still hasn't been... It hasn't been great. It hasn't. The Lions are at number 10 in this scenario, so, at number 11, which is a bit of a disappointment, right? They haven't quite played as good a football as they have all season. The Packers are crazy. They're top 3 in offensive EPA per play and bottom 3 in defensive EPA per play. So still good enough to get them 10th. Good offense tends to beat good defense. Although not in the Raiders' case, they actually are still 9th because of how well their defense has played despite some tough offense this season. And Tampa Bay, who all of a sudden is playing red-hot football right now, they're good enough to get the 8th spot here. Top 7, a massive surprise at number 7 with the Atlanta Falcons. Again, they crushed the Colts. That's been a big part of why they're currently here. And their defense has actually, I believe, been second best in that stretch from week 12 on, which again was just an arbitrary week I chose. Just wanted to kind of get a recency thing going on there. But obviously, they're probably out of the playoffs. Although, hey, maybe if they get in, that defense isn't the easiest to play against. Dallas is a little bit down from their season average. They're still a very quality team, but not quite maybe what they have been all year. And part of that, I think, is just competition, who you played against, which obviously is going to be a factor for a lot of these teams. The Bills, still very good, a little bit better than their season average, but very good in both, areas. The Ravens are here, so not quite as good as they were, all season because they are at second, but actually they've been around the same EPA per play all season net wise. It's actually a little bit, it's 0.001 points higher than it was over the season. But they just drop a couple spots because there's a couple teams higher, including the Rams, who are playing red hot football right now. They are one of 3 teams over 0.2 of a point per play net in this situation. The Niners and Dolphins are the other 2 teams. The Dolphins number 1. So these teams are hot at the right time. What this tells me a little bit is I still think the Ravens and Dolphins are the 2 real contenders in the AFC. I still think it's San Francisco's to lose, but don't sleep on the Rams. I really do believe that. But yeah, those are my thoughts. What are yours? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.